In 2023, in Linyi County, Shanxi Province, China, an 11-year-old boy disappeared mysteriously after being scolded by his mother for stealing money. The family initially believed it was a typical case of childish defiance, but the situation unraveled into a horrifying truth. As the police followed clues, the investigation seemed to hit a dead end until the boy's body was discovered buried in a cemetery under the grave of his step-grandfather. The forensic examination revealed that the boy had endured prolonged abuse before his death. Details of unusual family behavior and contradictions in testimonies exposed a dark series of events involving those responsible for this tragedy. A mysterious disappearance and unusual clues. On May 4, 2023, a young woman entered the Linyi County Public Security Office in Yunqing City, Shanxi Province, in a state of distress. Pale-faced and tearful, she reported the disappearance of her 11-year-old son. She explained that, in a fit of anger over stolen money, she had disciplined her son, and he had run away in the middle of the night. Overwhelmed with guilt, she tearfully blamed herself and begged the police for help in finding him. The police promptly formed an investigative team and visited the woman's home to gather more information. The missing boy was identified as Zhang Maoqin, born on September 28, 2012. The woman, Xiajie, was his biological mother. Xiajie's family struggled financially. She lived with her son and her second husband, Wang Min. Once calm enough to recount events, Xiajie shared the incident with evident regret. On the night of May 2nd, Xia discovered money missing from a cabinet. Suspecting her son, she angrily confronted him and made him face the wall as punishment. Initially, Zhang denied taking the money but broke down in tears moments later, admitting his mistake and promising never to do it again. Relieved by his confession, Xia calmed down and gently sent him to bed, reminding him about school the next day. However, the next morning, Xia was shocked to find Zhang's room wide open and her son missing. She ran to wake her husband, Wang Min, who initially thought Zhang might have gone to school early out of anger. But when they checked, Zhang's school bag and uniform were still in the room. Dismissing this theory, growing increasingly worried, Wang searched nearby parks and familiar places while Xia canvassed the streets asking for information. Despite their efforts, there was no sign of Zhang. As night fell, they decided to report his disappearance to the police the following morning. When police examined Zhang Maoqin's room, they found it sparsely furnished with only a bed, a small wardrobe, and a study desk. Oddly, while Xia claimed not to have entered the room since Zhang's disappearance, the bed's blanket and pillow were neatly arranged. This led the police to suspect that Zhang had left the house on the night of May 2nd, not the morning of May 3rd. Although May's weather wasn't particularly cold, Zhang's warm jacket remained in the wardrobe. His school bag and timetable showed no signs of preparation, indicating he hadn't planned to go to school after returning home on May 2nd. However, a thin windbreaker, a pair of shoes he often wore, and a backpack his mother had recently bought were missing. These items suggested that Zhang left home intentionally between the night of May 2nd and the early hours of May 3rd. To rule out foul play, the police formed a secondary team to investigate whether Zhang had been coerced or lured away by someone. The search continued, with the team piecing together every available clue to uncover the truth behind Zhang Maoqin's disappearance. A complex relationship, the dark past of the boy's parents. The police began their investigation by examining the relationships and daily lives surrounding Zhang Maoqin. For an 11-year-old boy, the likelihood of having enemies was almost non-existent. However, if the issue stemmed from the adults in his life, the story would be far more complicated. Through their inquiry, the police discovered that both Wang Min Maoqin's stepfather and Xiajie, his biological mother, had turbulent pasts before their marriage. Wang had been divorced twice and was notorious for domestic violence. frequently appearing at the local police station due to related incidents. Meanwhile, Xiajia had faced criticism for her frivolous lifestyle and had begun seeing Wang before officially divorcing her first husband. Despite their complicated pasts, neighbors remarked that Wang and Xia appeared to care for Zhang Maoqin well. The boy was described as polite and well-mannered, always greeting adults, though he was somewhat shy. However, the family's tendency to keep to themselves meant much about their private lives remained unclear. Maoqin's biological father, Zhang Maodong, remarried after his divorce and now lives with his eldest daughter, Maoqin's older sister. Since the separation, Maodong had limited contact with his son, primarily to avoid confrontations with Wang. When he did want to visit Maoqin, he would go to the boys' school, but these visits became less frequent over time. Maodong recounted that during their meetings, Maoqin acted normal, neither particularly cheerful nor avoidant. However, Maodong noticed his son growing thinner and more withdrawn, which filled him with guilt for being unable to provide a stable family for his child. The combination of troubled family dynamics, Maoqin's reserved demeanor, and the isolation of the household painted a complex picture for the investigation, prompting the police to dig deeper into the lives of those closest to the boy. The mother's unexpected testimony, first suspects revealed. The police continued their investigation by reviewing security camera footage around the neighborhood. However, from the night of May 2nd to the morning of May 3rd, no footage captured Zhang Maoqin leaving his home. Blind spots in the camera at the main gate made it difficult to pinpoint the exact time he left. This led the police to question, how could an 11-year-old boy avoid all camera angles unless someone lured or abducted him? This theory grew increasingly plausible. As the investigation expanded, the police delved deeper into the complex relationships of the adults in the household. They learned that one of Wang Min's ex-wives, a woman surnamed Mei, had a fiery temper and had clashed with Xia Jia in the past. After divorcing Wang, Mei moved to a house over 100 kilometers away. Xia Jia shared an unexpected detail. Around March 2023, she had seen Mei talking to Zhang Maoqin outside his school, not just once but twice. This raised suspicions that Mei might have tried to lure the boy away. Initially, Xia didn't think much of it, but after discussing it with Wang, both found it odd that Mei would suddenly appear at Maoqin's school despite living so far away. Recognizing the potential seriousness, the police summoned Mei for questioning. At the police station, Mei appeared shocked by the allegations. To explain her encounters with the boy, she stated that earlier in 2023, she had moved to Yunqing City for a higher-paying job and was staying with relatives. One day, while picking up her nephew from school, she saw Xiajia collecting her son, Maoqin. It was only then that she realized Maoqin was Wang's stepson. Having lived with Wang before, Mei was well aware of his violent tendencies and grew concerned for the boy. On another occasion, she saw Maoqin standing alone outside the school gate. She approached him, asking whether his stepfather mistreated him or if things were fine at home. Maoqin responded with wary silence and a guarded look. The next time they met, when she repeated her questions, the boy tersely replied that everything was fine before walking away. Although she didn't entirely believe that Wang had changed, Maoqin's answer reassured her for the time being. When asked about her whereabouts on the night of May 2nd, Mei explained that she had dinner with colleagues and was dropped home around 11 p.m. She stayed in for the rest of the night. The police verified her alibi with her colleagues, confirming it to be true. With a solid alibi, Mei was cleared of suspicion. After ruling out Mei, Xiajia suggested the police investigate Zhang Maodong, Maoqin's biological father. She explained that after their divorce, the two had disputes over custody. To ensure both children were cared for, they agreed that each parent would take one child. However, Maodong was dissatisfied with this arrangement. Adhering to a patriarchal mindset, he wanted Maoqin to live with him, believing a family must have a son. Xia alleged that Maodong even threatened to withhold financial support and cause trouble if he didn't get custody. The police visited Mao Dong's home. Upon entry, they noticed a pair of boys' shoes on a shelf. Since Mao Dong and his new wife didn't have children, the shoes raised suspicions. Mao Dong explained that the shoes belonged to Mao Qin during a previous outing with both Mao Qin and his elder daughter. The boy's grandmother had bought him new shoes, leaving the old pair at Mao Dong's house. The house appeared normal, except for a recently cleaned room that seemed to have been prepared for someone. When asked about the room, Mao Dong explained that he and his new wife were planning to have a child, so they had converted a storage room into a nursery in preparation. For his alibi, Mao Dong stated that from May 1st to May 4th, he was on a business trip in Beijing, with hotel staff able to verify his stay. After confirmation, the police ruled him out as a suspect. Mao Dong also denied Xia Jie's accusations, stating that he was not patriarchal. Instead, he claimed that Xia's selfish and frivolous lifestyle had caused their marriage to break down, leaving him exhausted throughout their time together. The investigation remained at an impasse, with no clear leads as to Zhang Maoqin's whereabouts or the events that led to his disappearance. Media and public scrutiny. The truth about the mother revealed. As police continued their investigation, the case of Zhang Maoqin began attracting widespread media attention. Articles about the boy's disappearance flooded news outlets, and authorities announced a 10,000 yuan reward for anyone providing information leading to his recovery. Public interest surged, bringing harsh criticism toward the boy's parents. Many questioned how an 11-year-old could disappear entirely under modern surveillance systems unless adults were involved. On social media, theories about the case spread like wildfire. Some suspected Xia Jie of fabricating the story for fame, while others pointed fingers at Wang, citing his history of domestic violence. Heated debates filled comment sections, making the case even more complicated. Realizing that media exposure might help find their son, on May 10th, Xia Jie and Wang posted a video on social media, ignoring the criticism and suspicions directed at them. They hoped to appeal to anyone who might have information about their missing child. In the video, Xia Jie tearfully pleaded for her son to return. Her trembling voice echoed, "My dear child, where are you? 1.4 billion people across the country are searching for you, and I'm searching for you too." After her appeal, Wang Min appeared, his expression somber, clearly drained from the relentless public scrutiny and days of fruitless searching. Through choked sobs, he affirmed his love for Zhang Maoqin, insisting he saw him as his own son and only wished for his safe return. By the end of the video, Wang broke down in tears, moving many viewers emotionally. Following the video's release, the couple participated in several media interviews, hoping their pleas might soften a potential abductor's heart or help Zhang Maoqin find his way home. The video spread rapidly, and a significant portion of the public began to reconsider their stance. Many argued that Wang should not be judged solely because he was a stepfather. Some even expressed regret for hastily accusing him earlier. However, doubts resurfaced when an acquaintance of Xia Jie revealed that she had logged into the Alipay app and participated in an online game on May 7th. This revelation led to public outrage, with many questioning whether Xia Jie was genuinely concerned about her son or merely performing for the cameras. Social media erupted with mocking comments, accusing the couple of acting to deceive the public, with some sarcastically suggesting they deserved a worst Oscar award for their performance. The situation worsened as netizens dug into the couple's controversial past. Xia Jie was accused of being frivolous and materialistic, allegedly starting an affair with Wang while still married to Zhang Maodong. Wang faced renewed criticism for his history of domestic violence. Public speculation grew, with some suggesting that both Xia Jie and Wang might be directly involved in Zhang Maoqin's disappearance. Despite the public backlash, the police noted that both Xia Jie and Wang had been highly cooperative throughout the investigation. They provided detailed information and actively participated in search efforts. If they were indeed the perpetrators, their performance would have to be so meticulously crafted that it bordered on unimaginable. The case continued to grip the nation, leaving the truth about Zhang Maoqin's disappearance shrouded in mystery as investigators worked tirelessly to uncover the facts. A turning point: the heartbreaking discovery of the boy's body. On April 2nd, the case took an unexpected turn. A man visiting the local cemetery to clean his father's grave noticed his dog barking loudly near a nearby grave. Curious, he approached and detected a foul odor emanating from the area. Upon closer inspection, he was horrified to discover what appeared to be human remains. Terrified, he immediately called the police. When officers arrived at the scene, they identified the grave as belonging to Wang's biological father, since Wang's father had been properly buried in a coffin. The presence of another body outside the grave raised alarming questions. Further inspection revealed signs of recent digging and refilling above the grave. With the family's consent, the police decided to excavate the area. What they uncovered left everyone shocked: the body of a young boy, whose size matched the age of Zhang Maoqin. The clothing on the body aligned perfectly with the description provided by the family on the day Maoqin went missing. At the scene, police determined that the burial site was merely a place to hide the body and not the location of the murder, as there were no signs of struggle or weapons nearby. The strong odor suggested that the body had been buried there for some time. An autopsy revealed that the boy had suffered multiple severe injuries. His hip bones showed damage from significant blunt force trauma. His skin bore burn marks, and there were numerous bruises across his body. These injuries included both fresh and older wounds, indicating prolonged abuse before his death. The body was brought to the station for further examination, and the identity of the victim was confirmed as Zhang Maoqin. With this discovery, the police believed they had identified the culprits. They immediately summoned Xiajia and Wang for interrogation. At the same time, an official announcement of the discovery was made, shocking and enraging the public. When the parents were informed that their son's body had been found buried in Wang's father's grave, Xiajia and Wang burst into tears. However, the police were already skeptical of their display of grief, suspecting it was part of an elaborate act. The police disclosed the cause of Zhang Maoqin's death and confirmed the location where his body was hidden. Upon hearing this, both Xiajia and Wang fell silent. When urged to tell the truth and potentially receive leniency, they instead began blaming each other. The discovery of Zhang Maoqin's body marked a critical turning point in the case. The public's outrage and the investigation's revelations would soon expose the full extent of the horrifying truth behind the boy's tragic fate. Conflicting and cold testimonies from the two perpetrators. In the interrogation room, Xiajia recounted her family history, stating that she and her ex-husband, Zhang Maodong, had 2 children, a son and a daughter. After their divorce, their daughter lived with Zhang, while their son, Zhang Maoqin, stayed with her. When Xiari married Wang Min, she initially felt happy and deeply in love, but gradually neglected her son's well-being. Xia admitted that Wang had a fiery temper and often vented his anger on Maoqin. At first, she tried to intervene, but over time, she chose silence to avoid provoking her husband. On the night of May 2nd, after discovering that Maoqin had taken money, Xia went out to buy something and returned about an hour later. When she asked Wang about their son, Wang responded coldly, "He's dead." Thinking it was a joke, Xia rushed to Maoqin's room, only to find him lying motionless on the floor. Panicked, she ran outside, crying and confronting Wang, who admitted he didn't mean to do it. Out of misplaced loyalty, Xia claimed she helped him cover up the incident. In contrast, Wang painted Xia as far from the loving mother she claimed to be. According to him, Xia was self-centered, preoccupied with her looks and personal enjoyment. Wang admitted to disciplining Mao Qin in the past, but claimed it was never as severe as Xia's treatment. He accused her of frequently scolding and harshly punishing the boy whenever he displeased her. On the night of May 2nd, Wang and Xia discovered money missing from their cabinet and immediately suspected Mao Qin. They called him into the living room. Without asking any questions, they began venting their anger on the boy. Wang admitted that they used physical force multiple times in their rage. Xia relentlessly interrogated Mao Qin about the missing money, but the boy denied taking it. Further enraging both parents, Wang claimed that Xia went to the kitchen, fetched a large cup of boiling water, and poured it over the boy, causing the burns later confirmed by forensic analysis. Despite Mao Qin's cries and pleas, the abuse continued until the boy collapsed and lay lifeless on the floor. Realizing that Mao Qin was dead, the couple panicked and feared their actions would be exposed. They decided to conceal the body by placing it in a large travel bag and transporting it to Wang's father's grave. Under the cover of darkness, they sneaked out through the back door, avoiding security cameras, and buried the body at the cemetery. The next morning, they reported Mao Qin as missing to the police, crafting a narrative that he had run away. To mislead authorities and public suspicion, Wang and Xia displayed profound grief before the media, crying during interviews, issuing public notices, and participating in search efforts. However, during the interrogations, their conflicting accounts raised suspicions. Xia claimed Wang was primarily responsible for the violence, while Wang insisted that Xia had escalated the abuse. Faced with mounting evidence and police pressure, Xia eventually admitted that both had attacked Mao Qin together. She also revealed that this was not the first time the boy had been subjected to abuse. Public outrage and tears of mourning. When the truth was revealed, public outrage exploded. Xia Jie and Wang Min were condemned not only for killing Zhang Mao Qin, but also for orchestrating a meticulous facade to deceive everyone. Their lack of remorse and attempts to mask their crime with pretense only deepened the public's anger. Zhang Mao Qin's biological father, Zhang Maodong, spoke out after the incident, expressing profound regret for not fighting for custody of both children. He blamed himself for trusting Xia Jie to care for Mao Qin, which led to the boy's abuse and untimely death. He lamented the tragedy as a failure he would carry for the rest of his life. Neighbors recalled hearing Mao Qin crying on April 28th, but they never imagined it would be the last time the boy was seen alive. This fueled speculation that Mao Qin's death may have occurred before May 3rd. On the day of Zhang Mao Qin's burial at his biological father's home, a large crowd from the village gathered to bid him farewell. They brought flowers, toys, and snacks that the boy had loved. The community mourned the loss of a kind, polite child who had been subjected to unimaginable cruelty. Mao Qin's aunt broke down in tears as she placed his school bag on his grave. His homeroom teacher, choking back sobs, remarked that this time, the boy had still topped his class. The crowd wept openly, grieving for a child adored by everyone, except for the two monsters who were supposed to love him most, his biological mother and stepfather. Unexpected twist, a quest for justice for the boy. As the trial of Xia Jie and Wang Min moved into the prosecution and public hearing stages, an unexpected development surfaced. Xia Jie was confirmed to be pregnant during her detention. This revelation complicated an already infuriating case. Both Xia Jie and Wang Min's actions clearly met the legal criteria for intentional homicide. They were fully aware that their violent abuse of Zhang Mao Qin could result in his death, yet they proceeded deliberately. As legal guardians of an 11-year-old child, their heinous crime of killing a biological and stepchild was not only cruel but also had severe social repercussions, warranting the harshest punishment. Under Chinese law, women who are pregnant at the time of sentencing or during detention cannot be sentenced to death. If a woman becomes pregnant before her execution, the death sentence is commuted to life imprisonment, regardless of the fate of the unborn child. This regulation aims to protect the life of the unborn child, who is entirely innocent of the mother's crimes. Given this legal stipulation, it became evident that if Xiaojie's pregnancy was confirmed, she would receive life imprisonment instead of the death penalty. On the other hand, Wang Min, who directly carried out the violence that led to Mao Qin's death, had no mitigating circumstances and was certain to face the death penalty. After the trial, the court delivered its final judgment. Wang Min was sentenced to death for his inhumane and barbaric acts. Meanwhile, Xiaojie, despite her cruel actions, had her death sentence reduced to life imprisonment due to her pregnancy. The public reacted with unrelenting anger as the verdict was announced. Many could not fathom the pain Zhang Maoqin endured in the final days of his life. An 11-year-old child, incapable of defending himself, was brutally killed by the very people, his biological mother and stepfather, who were supposed to protect and love him the most. Zhang Maodong, Mao Qin's biological father, expressed profound regret for his decision to entrust his son's care to his ex-wife. He blamed himself for not fighting harder for custody of both children, a decision that ultimately led to this tragedy. Maodong's grief and guilt echoed the sentiments of a society shocked and heartbroken by the boy's fate. The case of Zhang Maoqin not only exposed the cruelty of domestic abuse, but also served as a stark reminder of society's responsibility to protect children. While justice was served to the perpetrators, the scars left by Mao Qin's suffering will remain indelibly etched in the hearts of those who followed this tragic case. What are your thoughts on the perpetrators in today's case? Please share your comments below to join the discussion. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more stories. Goodbye, and see you in our next video.